Are you secretly an introvert, or have you just been called shy and lonely your whole life? Let's clear the air with a little playful truth. Introversion isn't about hating people. It's about where you get your energy from. While others light up in noisy crowds, you recharge in peaceful solitude and quiet reflection. Now, don't mix it up with shyness and loneliness. But here's the real question: are you just an introvert, or is your quiet mind actually hiding a powerful secret skill? Stay until the very end, because what you're about to discover might completely change how you see yourself. Welcome to the Quiet Mind, a visual journey that gently unravels the beautiful psychology of introversion, shyness, and the power of solitude. Let's start by untangling the labels. Introversion is often treated like something that needs fixing. We mix it up with shyness or loneliness as if being quiet means something's wrong. Today, we'll separate the healthy trait from all the myths. At its heart, introversion is about your personal energy economy. While extroverts recharge through lively social interaction, introverts gain energy from solitude and peaceful stillness. This idea was first clearly described by psychologist Carl Jung. It's simply a temperament that turns inward, not a dislike of people. Here's the key: introversion isn't about how much you like people. It's about how your nervous system handles stimulation. Extroverts light up in busy, high-energy settings. Introverts, on the other hand, spend their energy in those same crowds and need quiet time afterward to recharge their inner batteries. Think of it as a stimulation scale. Introverts naturally thrive in low-stimulation environments, calm, informal spaces where things feel gentle. Crowds and chaos, however, quickly drain those limited energy reserves. Now let's do the great uncoupling. Introversion is rooted in biology and temperament. It's a peaceful preference for low stimulation and restorative solitude. Shyness is fear of social judgment that creates anxiety and hesitation. Loneliness is the pain of missing the connection you crave. Society often confuses a quiet personality with anxiety, but they're not the same. Shyness is the fear of being judged, a real barrier. Introversion is simply a lower threshold for external stimulation. You can be a confident, even bold introvert who simply prefers the calm of a library over the noise of a crowded bar. Here's the difference in action. Shyness creates a wall of apprehension. Introverts often stay quiet not because they're afraid, but because they value the substance of what they say. They're waiting for something meaningful. Introversion is simply alignment with your own natural rhythm. Picture shyness as a wall, not a room. A shy person desperately wants to connect, but hesitation holds them back. An introvert might simply choose not to engage because their rich inner world already feels plenty stimulating. Shyness is a barrier. Introversion is just your comfortable baseline. Now let's explore the geometry of being alone. Loneliness is the painful absence of the connection you want, an involuntary ache. Solitude, by contrast, is the peaceful presence of yourself, chosen freely. You can be happily alone in total silence or feel devastatingly lonely in a room full of people. This distinction matters. Loneliness hurts because it's unwanted isolation. Chosen solitude, however, is actually a valuable psychological skill. Research shows that people who master comfortable solitude tend to have greater emotional stability, stronger resilience, and richer creativity. Let's peek inside the neurological architecture of a quiet mind. Personality neuroscience reveals that introverted brains really do work differently. Brain scans show higher baseline blood flow and activity in the frontal cortex, the region that handles deep internal processing and thoughtful reflection. That means the introvert's inner world is naturally highly active. Because internal thought, planning, and problem-solving are running at full speed, too much external stimulation quickly causes cognitive overload. No wonder quiet time feels so necessary. One fascinating clue comes from something called the P300 brain wave. This is a quick electrical spike that happens about 300 milliseconds after you notice a sudden change. Extroverts' brains spike strongly at human faces and social cues. Introverts show the same strong response to objects, ideas, and quiet details in their environment. In other words, an introvert's brain processes the physical world with the same intensity that an extrovert reserves for people. Everything gets deep attention, not just the social stuff. Another big piece is dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. Extroverts have a very active dopamine system, so socializing delivers a big, satisfying chemical payoff. For introverts, the same social rewards simply don't produce that strong hit. Socializing can start to feel more like effort than excitement. Research shows introverts are actually more sensitive to dopamine. The same lively environment that energizes an extrovert can quickly overload an introvert, leaving them feeling tired rather than thrilled. This brings us to the famous introvert hangover. It happens in 3 steps. First, you process everything deeply, catching every subtle emotional cue. Second, all that deep processing in a busy setting uses up a huge amount of energy. Third, your brain needs complete solitude to clear the backlog and reset. So yes, the introvert hangover is very real, because you absorb microexpressions, tone shifts, and emotional undercurrents so thoroughly, socializing carries a heavy metabolic cost. Afterward, your nervous system simply demands quiet time to recover. Polyvagal theory helps explain why. For sensitive nervous systems, constant noise and stimulation keep the body in a low-grade state of alert. Solitude becomes a powerful physiological tool that downregulates arousal and gently shifts you into deep, peaceful rest. According to optimal arousal theory, every person has their own ideal level of stimulation to feel alive and productive. Introverts naturally sit at a lower threshold. A calm, controlled environment isn't hiding. It's exactly what your nervous system needs to perform at its best. That's why home often feels like the perfect place for an introvert. It's the one environment where you control the lighting, the noise, and the social demands. Staying in isn't avoidance, it's smart, intuitive self-regulation. Introverts aren't antisocial, they're wonderfully selective. Because social energy is limited and precious, they set a high trust threshold. They'd rather invest deeply in a small circle of genuine connections than spread themselves thin with lots of casual acquaintances. In short, introverts skip the small talk and superficial scenes. They choose to pour their limited energy into meaningful relationships with a few carefully selected people. Selective, not antisocial. There's real power in what researchers call dispositional autonomy, the ability to act from your own inner values instead of external pressure. A 2022 study found that people who thrive alone can happily dine solo, travel by themselves, or politely decline invitations without needing anyone's approval. Solitude, when chosen freely, is actually a skill. Those who master it score low in neuroticism and high in open-mindedness. For them, time alone isn't the absence of connection, it's the presence of peace. The data is clear and encouraging. People who genuinely enjoy their own company tend to be less moody and emotionally stable, highly curious and imaginative, and very reliable and self-directed. Their self-esteem comes from within, so they're less shaken by rejection or outside noise. And let's celebrate the quiet superpowers that come with this wiring. An exceptional capacity for deep listening and empathy, the ability to generate highly original ideas away from groupthink, and a rich self-awareness that grows beautifully in quiet moments. Uninterrupted solitude becomes a true cognitive laboratory. It's where complex thoughts get organized, hidden patterns emerge, and fresh, original ideas are born, all because the mind is finally free to work at full power without interruption. So here's the full ecosystem of the quiet mind. Your biology sets a high frontal cortex activity and lower social reward response, which creates a real need for solitude and recovery. That need, in turn, builds strong dispositional autonomy and deep thinking, which then allows you to form selective, wonderfully authentic relationships. At the end of the day, introversion is not a defect to be cured, it's a temperament to be honored. Your quiet is not a weakness, it's a quietly fierce form of strength. When you respect your own wiring, you stop trying to fit a loud world and start building a life that truly nourishes you. If you've ever been mislabeled as shy when you're simply introverted, drop a comment below and let's talk about how you protect your precious peace.
Hi, thanks for watching. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Bye.